Hello, welcome to Step Up Insider and this month's skills training. Today, I want to talk to you about making your grant stand out and the things you can do to help your grant stand out. So, set a meeting with a funder. I can't tell you how many times I will say this, I will preach this. It's so important to talk to a funder to help frame your application, to discuss eligibility, and to really get their feedback on your project idea. It's been so helpful for me with so many clients to help tweak or shift how I frame an application that really and truly increases a grant's chance for success. Plus, a funder is the best source of information when you're applying to their funds. Next, plan ahead and do the background work. I can't tell you how many times organizations are trying to piece together a project at the time of a grant application. This becomes increasingly difficult under a looming deadline because you're scrounging for information. People are already busy. You can't get the meetings you need to. You feel like you're bothering everybody because you only have so much time to do it. When you plan ahead, you set yourself up for success by being able to gather the right details, ask the right questions, and potentially fill in any gaps that might be missing in your project idea. It's also likely going to ensure whatever project, program, event, or idea you're looking for funds for really aligns with your mission and the strategic direction of your organization. You're not just responding to a funder and coming up with something under the fly, but rather you're applying for something you really, truly need funds for to have an impact in the community. Next, be clear and concise. There's a purpose to those pesky character counts. Every funder puts them in there for a reason because they want you to be clear and they want you to be straightforward without all the extras. And so when you put your application together, you don't always have to use the full character count or word count. If you are clear and concise in what you are doing, that is all that matters. Another important piece to consider: don't assume that a funder knows who you are. I don't care if you've been in business for 30 years. I don't care if you've been around for 50 years. I don't care if you're brand new, but you talked to the funder 3 times. Never assume that the people at the review table know who you are, what you do, or the impact you're trying to have. You always need to explain who you are and just do not make assumptions because you never know who is reading the application. Another really big thing that will help your application stand out is collaboration, is partnerships. And I don't mean develop partnerships just for the sake of partnerships. I don't mean to go out there and say, hey, so-and-so, do you want to collaborate on this application? No, partnerships and collaboration need to be in a benefit to the cause, the demographic, or the target population you are trying to serve. So maybe you're not an expert in a certain area, whether it's in evaluation, maybe it's in development, maybe it's in actually connecting to a certain area or a certain group of people, and you need connections with other organizations to reach those individuals. Important around partnerships is that they are authentic. When it comes to the time of writing an application, if you don't have a partnership yet, it's too late. So developing partnerships happens organically, and you're doing it for the sake of your programs, your organization, not for the sake of a grant application. But funders love to see partnerships and collaboration because there is so much duplication of services that they see repeat requests for funding. They don't see information being shared. And so they're trying to reduce that by looking for ways partners and organizations can work together to better serve the community. We can have a better and bigger impact together. Another way to make your grant stand out is to share your urgency. Why is your project needed now? So when a grant is highly competitive, you need to demonstrate why funding is needed now, why the project or idea you are doing is something that the community needs now. And the urgency doesn't always have to be a negative. It can be a need for positive. It could be a celebration of your organization. As long as you demonstrate and you explain why funding is needed now, and if you miss said opportunity, your idea, your project, your impact will not happen without that funding. Really consider the urgency and how you can demonstrate that to a funder. Another really important piece, present a viable project. What does that mean? Viability is strongly demonstrated by your budget, which means having revenues in place, making sure that your expenses actually match what you've outlined in your application, and that you haven't tried to do too much or not enough. This is demonstrated by the amount of funding you're asking for, the total project budget, and how that aligns with the timeline that the grant is giving you. So viability is a multi-layered aspect, but your budget is the biggest element that is going to demonstrate to a funder if you have the puzzle pieces to execute and have the impact you're going to have. Primarily, do you have enough funding in place? Simple but effective. Submit a complete application. I know, sounds obvious. Of course, we would submit a complete application, but I've been at a reviewer table many times reviewing applications, and I can say with confidence that almost 50% of applications or more always miss something. Something is unclear. They haven't completed a question. They're missing a supporting document. Make it easy for your funder to check all these supporting documents, to check that your application is complete so they can focus on the content of your application. The more time they spend ensuring your application is complete, the less time they have to actually work through your application on its merit or spend time clarifying details in the application. Not all funders will do that, but again, the more time they spend figuring out if your application is complete, the less time is spent actually on the merit of what you're trying to ask for funding for. And then last but not least, if you're new to the grant game, if you've been in it for a while, but you're not seeing success, get some support, get some expert advice. You know, the fact that you're here is fantastic. Learning, want some additional support on your applications when they're just about to go in, reach out for my review service. If you want to build out a stronger skill set, work with me on a critique. We work through your application in real time together. I will make sure you are doing all these pieces that I've talked about to make your grant stand out, and you can have all of that in place prior to your submission. I hope you enjoyed this week's skills development training. If you find this helpful, I would so appreciate if you shared Step Up Insider with another organization that might benefit. If you find this beneficial, I would love to hear your feedback. If there is something else you would like me to be talking about or you would like to learn about, please share that with me as well. Until next time, thank you.